I'm sorry about that. I just needed to get it updated. So we can all see the screen, right? Yes, good. So you're looking at introduction to cinematography. Basically, cinematography is the art and technology of motion picture photography. I know we've all come across camera and all and that and seen how camera works, even if it is not a proper video camera, at least a phone camera, right? Have we It's supposed to be a quite interactive class, so I would really love responses, whether via text or you can unmute your mic to speak. But have you seen a camera before? Daniel, have you seen a camera before? Yes, so cinematography basically is the art and technology of motion picture photography, involving the collaborative, creative, and technical decision that shapes a film's visual narrative. Basically, cinematography is just about shooting videos, but in creative ways, storytelling in a creative way. I'm trying to simplify it for us so that I'll not pack in too much of the technical jargs on our head, but basically, cinematography is telling a story creatively with visuals. So it involves a lot of things, both the camera, both the set, camera, the set, any and every other thing we put together to to tell a story appropriately is cinematography. Any and everything we put together to tell the story appropriately is cinematography. So it encompasses lighting, camera movement, lens, composition, color, and each and every of all these things I would explain. Today a lot of explaining these things. We use tomorrow to do a couple of showing of these things. God help me, I'll get a camera. I'll be with a camera and just show us a couple of all these things with video, right? So it encompasses that cinematography. So it's not cinematography is not about using a camera. Cinematography is not about um capturing picture or capturing video with your camera. It's not about I have a camera and I can use it. It goes beyond that. Cinematography goes beyond just being able to use your camera to shoot. It goes beyond just being able to just having a camera. It goes beyond just having a camera and shooting. It is beyond any and every of all these things, right? Because there is a creative and intentional input that is required of it. Remember, we said it involves collaborative. Why? Because it is not just a camera thing. It is not just about one thing. It is not just about one angle. It is not just about one aspect. A host of things comes to play when it comes to cinematography. So it involves the collaborative, creative. Right. So, like I said, cinematography is not videography. It's not just I can take my camera and I can capture moments. Almost any and everybody can pick up a phone and say they can shoot a video. Almost any and everybody can do that. Pick up your phone and then shoot a video, right? Pick up your phone and maybe capture mommy or daddy dancing or capture your sister or capture something with your phone and of course, you shot a video like that, but cinematography involves creativity. It goes beyond just shooting and technical decisions that shape a film's visual narrative. I used to put it this way: cinematography simply is creatively telling a story through visuals or creatively representing, visually representing a story. Basically, that means it involves creativity, it involves visuals, that's video and picture, and all the elements that make it up about a story. So I can I can pick my camera and maybe capture a church event. I can pick my camera and maybe capture the worship session in a church event. But when I use the camera to creatively tell something about the event in the way I'm capturing it, that becomes cinematography. It's not necessarily just film, any which ways, but the bulk of it is understood by films. I don't know if you get we all get what I'm trying to say. So cinematography is not just about handling camera. It is not just about knowing how to shoot. It goes beyond that. It is about the creative represent or visual representation of what a story. Let's give an example. Adaora was going going somewhere, and then she maybe witnessed a truck carrying something, like then she comes back and tell the story. Now a cinematographer will think, how can I represent this story? How, what can I shoot? What can I add? How can I design this thing to tell this story better? A videographer would have just probably just shot the thing and come back and show you that, see what I shot. But a cinematographer thinks deeper than that. So I said it encompasses lighting. That means what are the things involved? We have lighting, we have camera movement, we have lens choice, we have composition, we have color. So these are a lot of things that we cannot even talk about in a day or two, but we try to put them together and help us understand what they are. But no, understand that when we're talking about cinematography, when we're talking about filmmaking, I said tomorrow would add the bonus of phone videography, so that we also know that we can also use our phone to shoot very well. We can also use our phone to shoot a creative video. You can use your phone to shoot creatively, but we'll talk more about camera till tomorrow when we introduce a bit of phone videography or cinematography to us. All right. So I said it encompasses lighting, camera movement, lens choices, composition, color. Now, there's something we call the five great C's of cinematography. Five great C's of cinematography, which is camera movement, composition, color, continuity, and cut. Camera movement, composition, color, um, cut, and what was the last one that I'm missing out? Camera movement, composition, color, um, cut, and I'm missing one out already. But they are called the five great C's of cinematography. So we're looking at one of them, one after the other. So we have the key aspects of cinematography. That if you are calling yourself a cinematographer, or we are saying you are doing the work of a cinematographer, there are key aspects of creative visual representation of a story. Don't forget that is what we call cinematography. Cinematography is not just shooting. Like this side note on it says cinema is a matter of what is in the cinematography is a matter of what is in the frame and what's out. It's not just about shooting. It's about thinking creatively, which goes even to what is inside the video, the other elements that will be found inside the video. When someone is thinking that way, is thinking as a cinematographer. If someone is just thinking, let's carry camera and shoot, he's not a cinematographer. But if he's thinking about what goes into the video, if he's thinking about what is even in the environment that is to be shot, thinking about placing things properly, thinking about where the light is coming from, thinking about what we call composition, thinking about what we call color, and all those things. When one begins to think this way, to try to represent a story visually, that is a cinematographer, or that is cinematography. So let's move. Key aspect of cinematography. We'll just pick these things one after the other. Most majorly because it's not fully a practical class, I will do my best to just explain them as much as each and every one of us can understand. Now, what are the key aspects of cinematography? Number one is lighting. We can do nothing without lighting cinematography. If not, it's just gonna be a blank, a very nonsensical video without lighting. It's just going to be blank. It's going to be just really going to be nonsense. Lighting is very important in cinematography. You can tell different stories, you can represent things in different ways, you can you can tell a story using the lighting. You can use light to give the mood of a scene. So I say lighting shapes mood, atmosphere, and realism. Have you watched a movie where you see that okay, have you watched Batman? Has any one of us watched Batman? Anybody? Any of the franchises of Batman, that anyone, have you watched anyone? No, no, I need you to speak out if you have. Just let me know the one you have watched. I want to use a little bit of that to explain lighting to you. What do you notice about Batman? Okay, I must answer it. What do you notice about Batman movies? Anyone? Okay. That good. Thank you very much. That's the word I'm looking for. Dark. Because they are trying to tell you that Batman is bats don't see in the night. They don't see in daytime, right? Basically, bats don't see in the night. So what do? They represent. They use lighting to explain to you. That is why Batman will always come out in the night, and most times it is dark. So they are using lighting to shape your mindset. The moment it's you know that if robbery is happening during daytime, Batman will not come out. In Batman movies, no matter what is happening during daytime, it's Bruce Wayne you will see. But when night comes, Batman does what? Comes out. Why? Because they are using light to shape your understanding of the movie. That Bat comes out only at night majorly. Right. So they use that dark mood. You will notice that it is usually dark. Batman filming, you might have not understood much about lighting, but from today you will understand when you are watching movie. If you watch a comedy, no, let me leave comedy. If you watch an horror movie, what do you notice also about the movie itself? Has anybody watched any horror movie? And that we are talking about aspect of cinematography, and we are starting with lighting. We said lighting, composition, camera movement, lens selection, color grading. These are very key aspects in cinematography. We had initially said that cinematography is just basically visually representing a story, using creative means to visually represent what a story, or in another term, a film, right? Because film is all about a story. I have a story. How can I represent this story visually? That is what a film is, right? The visual representation of what a story. Now, inculcating creative means to it is what is now cinematography. And I said one of the key aspects of cinematography, like a very strong key aspect of cinematography, is lighting. And I asked a question about if you have watched Batman and what you notice. Daniel said you will always notice that it is dark, which is very beautiful. You realize that Batman movies are usually dark. And what are they trying to sell to you? They're trying to let you immediately there's there's this change of mind when you know that something's about to happen in Batman movie. You will know it will become dark almost immediately. And when it is dark, you are very certain that what Batman will appear. That's because they are using that light thing to shape your understanding of the movie. And one thing we said about lighting is lighting shapes mood. And I now asked, how many of us have watched any horror movie? You can just use emoji to or raise your hand. I would continue talking. How many of us have watched any horror movie? Anybody? Okay, Daniel said he has watched horror movie. What do you also notice about horror movies? Tell me one thing you notice as that you notice about horror movies. You can just unmute and talk, or you can type anyone that works better for you if you're in a noisy place. What do you notice about horror movies? You say what? Okay. Okay. Adara, do you have an answer? What do you in respect to light now? What do you notice about horror movies? Okay. Thank you very much. It is usually dark, same as that Batman thing that we mentioned earlier. It is usually dark. Right. We know horror will now not because bad things don't happen during the day, right? But there's what it does to the mind when it is dark. Halloween movie, and all those kind of movies. You realize that what they are usually dark themed. They are usually what dark themed. So the lighting setup for those kind of movie, the mood the light set is horror mood. So when you see something is dark, you just we just feel that something is about to happen. Why? Because we have we have connected danger with night also. We have connected night time with danger, right? So that is what comes to your head almost immediately, that something bad is about to happen. That is what lighting does in a movie. It shapes the mood. Now, if you see comedy film or you see normal films, you won't see them so dark. They are usually what, very bright. Yeah, it's almost as though they are shooting outside during the daytime. It's usually very bright. If you see happy movies, films that has a lot of comedy or something like that, you realize that they are always very bright. I really don't know the kind of movies we watched. If not, I would have mentioned a few. But if you know Kevin Hart, if you see most of this, if you know what's the name of this man now, Tyler Perry. If you watch this Media, this film where he acts an old woman, I don't know if you've seen those kinds of films. What you will notice is those films are usually bright. They are usually well lit. That's because they are comedy films. They are usually well lit. But when we are talking about films that you want to give someone a very moody sense, or you want to give them danger or something, you set it dark. Now that is what lighting does. The moment it becomes dark, something happens, something occurs in your mind. We also use lighting to set atmosphere. If somewhere something is happy and bubbly, is well lit, if they are feeling moody, they are feeling downcast, you see that it's a little bit dark and like that. I don't know if you get where we are pushing at. So lighting is a important thing, a very important aspect of cinematography, very important of telling a story creatively, representing a story visually creatively. Don't forget, cinematography basically is what, using, in simple word, using video, creative video to tell a story. The way I'll come at that ram, I come and say, okay, I went to the market, I bought this, I bought that, I bought this, I bought that. Me as a cinematographer can just use a video to represent, to tell that story. I have Adara leaving the house. I show a detail of her wearing her shoe. I show this. I show her in the bus. I show her pressing her phone. I show the movement of. I'm just representing the same story Ada told us, but with what? With video or with visual. So that's why I said cinematography is what? Visual representation of a story creatively. Don't forget, these five things are not out of cinematography, regardless of the definition. Number one, creativity is involved, visual representation, and stories are being told. Right. So another thing is composition, and composition basically is how these elements are arranged in a a frame. I want to show us another. Let me show us another picture. Let me share something else so that we would understand all these technical jargons I'm about to say. Okay, so we'll see a picture now of a set. So though is telling something else, but I want you to pick what I want you to pick from it first. Oh, can we see my screen? Oh, why is it not showing? Okay, I wanted to show us a picture of. Let me do it from my phone. I wanted to show us a picture of a scene so that I can use it to explain the things I wanted to explain. Can we all see my phone sharing? Please just let me know when you can see my phone sharing. Okay. Can you all see it? Can you see my phone sharing? Okay, okay, okay. See that we can see it. Yeah. We can see this image. Okay. So now, can you see? We can all see this image that I'm sharing, right? Remember, we are talking about composition. Now, I say composition basically is the arrangement of elements within a frame. Now, the entirety of this image that you are seeing is the frame. How what I am seeing from the camera. If you hold your phone and you want to shoot, everything you are seeing with at that moment inside the phone from the eye of the camera is the frame. So any and everything showing there are elements aside the humans any which ways, aside the human being idea that we call subject. Any and every other thing, non-living thing that you see in this set is image. You can see the wall clock, you can see that lamp, you can see the scattered tables and all those things on the table. You can see the window, you can see the light coming in from the window, you can see the bookshelf, you can see the cabinet, you can see the all these things are within this frame. So all the entirety of this thing that your camera is seeing at that moment. Remember, we are talking about what key aspect of of cinematography. We start with lighting, now composition. So all these things that you are seeing within this in this picture that you can see is what is called a frame. So this thing that you are seeing is the frame, right? Everything within it is called, except the human, which is called the subject, are called elements. Now, composition basically is how we arrange these elements in the frame. How I arrange all these elements in the frame is what we call composition. Now, I want to ask a question. Let me see if I can share the slides side by side also. Okay. Can we see the slide? Okay, I can't share two things at the same time. Anyway, okay, I'll go back to what I'm sharing now. I said composition is what how elements are arranged within what within the frame. How elements are arranged within the frame. Let me stay on the picture, please. Sorry, forgive me. I didn't know it was going to stop the one I was sharing with my phone. All those things are on my system. I don't know why they are not showing. So you can see this frame now. Every of all these elements, how they are arranged in this frame is what we call composition. Have we heard of composition before? Whether in photography but you or video or whatever, you must have heard of composition. No. So just to understand, composition basically is how elements are arranged in the frame. Now, what is the frame? Everything your camera is seeing at once is the frame. Everything the eye of your camera can see or the lens of your camera can see at a given time is your frame, right? So every element within that frame and how they are arranged is what we now call that thing called composition, which is a very important aspect of cinematography, and it also helps to tell your story. Now, I need someone to answer this one, either you type or you're on mute and talk. Seeing this image, what do you think, or who do you think this kind of person will be? Seeing what the way all these elements are arranged in this frame, I wanted to say something that would have answered the question. Seeing the way all these elements are arranged on this image that you are seeing, what will you call this person? Quickly, so we can push from here. We'll finish with key aspect, and tomorrow we are going to pick up something else and give some examples and work on a practical aspect of it, and we move. What can you say? Anyone, anybody, please, quick one. I need us to respond. I really need us to talk. Looking at this thing now, looking at this image, what can you tell of this person? Because we are trying to see how these aspects actually help us to tell a story. I've explained how lighting helps us to tell a story, right? That if it's dark, you say it signifies danger, it signifies moodiness, right? If it's very bright, it signifies happiness. It sets an atmosphere of someone that's happy. If it is if it is dark and you add some kind of color, it's telling something else. We'll get to color. Color is also one of the five great C's of cinematography, right? You know that red is danger, blue is talking about this, pink is feminine, and all those things, right? So the same way composition also help tell part of the story. Anybody that can answer this question that I asked, I promise the person want to give the person whatever the person asked in respect to training for cinematography. Just anybody that can answer, what does this image that you're seeing now, what do you think it tells in respect to how, remember I said composition is how the elements are arranged within a frame, and it also help tell something in the story, or it also help tell a story. So who can tell me what this composition that you are seeing now, what it is telling about this man in this image? Anybody? Are we still with me? Are we still with me? And I know. Don't thumbs me up. Just even if you don't know, you can say, okay, I don't know. But I want to either see text or hear your voice. What is the way this image is looking now? Take it like a video. We are talking about videos here. Take it as a video. They show you this kind of video for like 5 minutes. What do you think? Who will you think this person is? Or what will you think of this man in this video? What will you think of him? Remembering that composition is how elements are placed in your frame or within your frame, and everywhere an element is placed tells a story. Okay, Daniel said he doesn't know. Does any other person know? Any other person before I say it? Daniel, have you ever used your either a phone or a camera to shoot before? Daniel, you're welcome. The person just joined in. You're welcome. I'll try my best to go back and explain some things as we progress so that you are not lost. But we are talking about cinematography. We've looked at the what cinematography means. Now we are looking at some key aspects of cinematography. All right, let me just answer it so that we don't spend too much time on it. Now, the first thing you will say about this person is that this person is scattered. Isn't that what you see? Let me see some emojis if I'm correct. The first thing once you see this picture, what comes to your mind? What will come to your mind that this person is a very scattered person or this person is disorganized, right or right? If mommy comes into your room now and see your socks, your just see your stuff scattered everywhere, what will they think? They will say the place is scattered, one, then they will say the person is disorganized, right? So if I want to represent someone that is disorganized, this kind of office setup, this kind of composition that you're seeing is how I represent someone that is disorganized. I can see books littered everywhere. I can see the table littered with stuff. I can see his back also scattered with different kind of elements. So this guy is a very disorganized person. How did I know he's disorganized? If I didn't see the way these elements are arranged in this frame, I won't be able to say this guy is disorganized. If I just see him sitting down somewhere alone, I won't say it's disorganized. I will say it's lonely, right? Are we getting composition now? How these things are arranged? If I see him sitting on a chair and then there's nothing in that room, none of all these things are there, he's just sitting on a chair. I will say he's what? He's lonely. Can you see how composition is helping us define a story or helping us define a scene or something, a visual? The way those things are scattered on his desk, scattered around him, litters everywhere, the first thing that comes to my mind is that this guy is what? A very dirty guy. This guy is what? A very disorganized guy. Then to worsen it is his hair. If you see his hair is scattered. Say this guy is a very disorganized guy. This guy is scattered. This guy is not arranged. This guy is not composed. Right. So can you see how composition is helping us to tell a story? We are looking at important key aspect of cinematography. We have seen lighting. one very important aspect of cinematography. The second is what? Composition. And we say composition is how elements are arranged within a frame. And we are using this picture to explain that. We can see how books and all manners of stuff are scattered and littered around this guy. It is simply just telling us that this guy in this movie is disorganized. This guy in this movie is a scattered person. Or at this moment in the movie, this guy is disorganized. At this moment in the movie, this guy is scattered. At this moment in the movie, this guy does not know what he's doing. Or this guy is depressed. Another way to show someone that is depressed is maybe having them looking scattered and look their environment looking scattered, because someone that is depressed will not be able to take care of himself and his environment. So can we see how composition is shaping story? Are we seeing? Let me see if I okay, this is just another way of it. Now, okay, this is both this one you can now see. I just want to talk a little bit of composition, then I move to the next one. I want to finish key aspect today so that tomorrow we can look at practical aspect of cinematography, like handling things, right? Now, what you can see is two people in this set, right? From the way they are positioned, from the way they are arranged, with what is on the table, and those things you can see on the table, and the way the lamp is positioned. If you are watching a movie or someone is watching a movie and you came in the room at the moment this scene was being shown, you will most times automatically know what is happening in that scene. I won't need the person watching it will not need to start explaining. Immediately you almost know that this guy is being interrogated. Even if you don't hear anything, you don't hear the vocals, the audio, you are not hearing the audio, you are not hearing immediately, because of this composition that you are seeing, because of how these things were placed, the guy looking, immediately you'll be able to tell some things from this movie. The way the guy is sitting, the way he's looking, the way the other man is sitting firm and authoritative, and all of that, which is another aspect we'll talk about later anyway, which is not for this. But in the placing of those things around the guy, the pictures littered on the table, and the guy looking, you will know immediately that this is someone that is being interrogated. In your head, immediately it comes that okay, this is an interrogating room, right? So this composition is already telling us what? A story. It's already telling us something about this movie. So composition is very important. Composition is a very important aspect of what? Of cinematography. Let's push to the next one. Another aspect of cinematography. The second aspect is camera movement. So we have lighting, we have composition, we have camera movement, we have lens selection, we have color grading. I will just I will talk very briefly on this guys. Tomorrow we'll go into the main one, which is camera settings. If you know that, you are good to go. If you know camera settings and framing, you are majorly good to go with cinematography. You are very good to go, very good to go. Like very, very good to go. So I'm sure we can all see my screen now, right? So let me just talk briefly on the rest. Tomorrow we look at the remaining ones. Now, the third one is camera movement. I don't know if we are following. Please, if you are following, let me see those emojis. Let me see those emojis if you are following. If you have any question, please drop them on the group. Drop them. Sorry, I said drop them on the group. You can drop them in the message box of the call. Just drop it if you have any question. The third one is camera movement. Now, basically, from what you have heard, camera moving, movement moving, camera what you are using to take the pictures, movement moving. So basically, camera movement is just moving the camera to get good angles, to get some kind of shots. Or I really wish I can show video. Let me see if I have a video on my phone that I can show us about camera movement. But it's a very simple thing. How many of you have watched film where it's as though the camera is what you are seeing is moving, or the camera is following somebody? I'm coming. Yes, I've gotten one. I'm trying to. Okay. But now camera movement is just basically the camera moving. No, there's no much explanation to it, but it is intentional. It is not just camera moving. it is intentional. They have purposes, they have reasons. They are not, it's not just basically camera moving or something. There are purpose to it. Now, let me, the types we are seeing there, we are seeing panning, we are seeing tilting, we are seeing tracking. What camera movement does is it add emotion and energy. Now let me cite an example. This one, every one of us can picture this one, even if I don't have a video for it. You can all picture it. Right? If you are in a scene and you are watching a movie, and in that movie someone is running, there's someone running that, or someone is being chased. How how will you enjoy that scene? You will enjoy that scene more if it's as though the camera is moving with the person. If that the camera is just in one place and the person is just running, before time the person is going to run out of the frame. But if as the person is running, you are seeing it's as though the camera is moving, you are seeing those shakes because the person is running, the person fall, you see a shake that shows that the person fall. That is what we call, that is one thing about camera movie. We call that one tracking. You are following the subject. The camera is what following the subject. What it does to you as a viewer is it's as though it puts you in the scene. If you watch a lot of action movies where you see those fight scenes and you see the camera moving based on how they are being fought, based on how the fight is happening, you understand what I'm talking about. Camera movement, it gives life to a scene, it gives emotion, it gives energy to your shot. It gives energy, it gives emotion, it gives life to your shot. And the types of camera movement we have is we have panning, we have tilting, we have tracking, we have many others, but these are major ones. Tomorrow we'll talk about a couple of them, a couple others of them. Right? We have panning, that's when the camera is going from left to right. You are moving from left to right. We have tilting, you are moving from up to down. And tracking is you are following a subject or an object. You are following a subject or an object. That is tracking. That is tracking. So that's that for camera movement. We have panning, we have tilting, we have tracking, three major ones. Then within them, we now have different kinds. We have dolly track, we have crane, we have gimbal movement, we have all manners and types of this movement and tracking, right? Or movement of camera. But basically, it's either you are panning, you are tilting, or you are tracking. It's either you are taking it left to right, you are taking it up to down, or you are moving with the subject or object, right? So all the other kinds of camera movement are embedded within these three major and basic ones. Then the last one, the fourth one is lens selection. Lens selection, a lot of story with this, but let me leave it till I show you a lens. Then the last one is color grading, which is post production. So in cinematography or filmmaking, we have production, we have pre-production planning, we have production, and we have post-production. In pre-production, we're talking about writing the script, meeting, talking about the script, casting, and all those things. Then production is shooting the movie. Then post-production is editing and color grading. Now, what I started with, one thing I need us to hold in this key aspect, the three major ones are lighting, composition, and camera movement. We need to hold these three because they are very basic in cinematography. There are things that must, whether you are using phone or you are using a proper camera, you must understand these three. You must understand these three before you can even begin to call yourself a cinematographer. You must understand how to effectively and creatively use these three. How to effectively and creatively light, how to effectively and creatively composite your scenes, that's place elements in the right places to tell a story. We see that from that image I showed us. Then camera movement, because it has spice. I was saying before that if you watch movie that they are chasing someone, what interests you in the chase is not necessarily the person running, but how the camera is moving along with the person, how the camera is falling if the person falls, how the camera is standing if the person stands, and all those movements you see in a car chasing. I'll try to get a couple of videos that I can show us tomorrow so that we understand lighting, composition, and camera movement. So I'll get videos and pictures to show us about these three things. Those are the three major ones that, like, to call yourself a cinematographer, you must know how to I want to use a word, but I'm safe at using. You must know how to manipulate them. You must know how to manipulate light, you must know how to manipulate composition, and you must know how to manipulate camera movement. Like you must know how to use these three things effectively, effectively for you to call yourself what, a cinematographer. So in this next page, just foundational techniques. Same thing. We have lighting, we have composition, we have camera movement, we have camera angle. These four brothers, they are brothers. Is what we used to tell a story as a cinematographer. Without them, you are not telling any story. You are just shooting. You are just like these camera operators in church. Your own is to just go and stand there and do live stream and move on. But if you would call yourself a cinematographer, if you call yourself someone that is a filmmaker, that you are telling a story with videos, these four foundational techniques are very important. Don't forget, cinematography is a matter of what is in the frame and what is out. Everything about cinematography, what is in the frame, how they are arranged, how you are setting your light, how your camera is moving, the kind of angle you are doing. Now, since I've spoken about lighting, composition, and camera movement, I'll move camera angle to tomorrow. But that picture I showed us, there are a couple other pictures like that, but I'll show us everything tomorrow when I'm talking about camera camera angle. I want to end here. If I end here, I think I've done a beginner's job for us for understanding. So just you can screenshot the page so that when we come tomorrow, we won't be going too far back, except if there are so many new persons on the call, right? So I said whether foundational technique or key aspects, you can either know them as foundational technique. So we have to let's see if we can push the 230. Okay, I'll talk about camera angle. Then we'll look at tomorrow we'll look at essential elements of cinematography, and the essential elements and camera settings. I'll dwell a bit more here because we have a lot of things to talk about here. Then, like I said, the bonus to it is I will share this my slide on the group so that we can have access to it, ask questions where we need to ask questions. This is the slide I used to teach almost anytime and everywhere when I'm teaching cinematography, aside the other things I now say from experience and from head knowledge. This is so I would That's my free gift to everyone. My free gift to everyone is I'll share this slide. Then we'd also give room for any question that we might have. Like I said at the beginning of this call, for those of us that are not there, the group is open to all your questions. The group, that's why I don't lock the group. If you have joined any other kind of training like this, they used to lock group. I don't lock the group. The reason I don't lock the group is so that we can speak, so that we can talk, we can communicate, we can ask questions, we can drop our mind, we can drop suggestions or whatever it is you have. So there's I'm always there and open to answering and carrying us along as much as I can. All right, so we'll look at those other things tomorrow. Today, let's just wrap it up on camera angle. Now, we said these four things basically and majorly. Let me introduce camera angle now. Are very important. Why will you be interested in a movie? You might not know, maybe because you don't know these things, but subconsciously, these are the things that are controlling how much you like a movie. Aside the story, many of us don't even really know about good or bad stories. So, I want is just to watch movie. What is compelling you to stay in that movie is these four things. What really is compelling you to stay in that movie is these four things. Because okay, you're watching a Batman. What is the story in Batman that you're watching? Except the fact that he flies in the night, he comes out, he has many rides, he has all this. But how they've been able to light it, how they've been able to give you good composition, good action camera movement, good camera angles. These are the things that kept you watching that what do you call this thing? Z word. Watching K drama, especially K dramas. They are good with camera movement, composition, and angle. Very good at with that. So these elements, these techniques, these key stuff and what keeps you watching a movie. If not, it's null and void. Especially if you are watching, if many of you, any of you that have ever come across maybe a 1960, a 1980 movie, you are almost immediately disgusted, right or right? If I'm right, please let me see emojis. Maybe you come across an old movie. What disgusts you almost immediately? The way the thing is looking, is not looking sharp, it's just looking blah, nothing, right? So these four things, as much as they were using it then, of course, equipment advanced, a whole lot of things advanced. We understand that, but because these four things did not just start yesterday, they did not just start with me. They started since the advent and the beginning of cinematography. In fact, one of the book on cinematography I'm reading is as old as any other thing, as old, ancient, and as old as cinematography itself. The five great C's of cinematography is from the beginning of cinematography: camera movement, composition, camera angle, continuity, and cut. But as things are advancing, we are seeing them in better light and in better way. But these four guys are the bottom or the rock, the pillar of what we call creative visual representation of a story, cinematography. I don't know if we get me this night. I don't know if we get me. If we are getting me, let me see those emojis. If we are getting me, let me see those emojis. Let me see them. So let me touch a bit about camera angle. I recap and we are going to end tonight's class. Tomorrow we can push 2 hours. God helping us. I had to do a bit of talking about the community that sponsored this meeting. Let me stop Ayomide. The community that sponsored this meeting so that we all know what the community is about and then we can also participate in all the other things that are being done. So camera angle quickly. Camera angle is just where and how the camera is coming from in simple terms. I don't like teaching with big grammar most times. I believe in understanding more than the grammar. Camera angle basically is just where and how the camera is coming from. Don't forget, I have touched something that I might maybe talk about a bit more tomorrow, which is framing. I told you because you'll be hearing those things that we're talking about cinematography. I can't do without mentioning those ones. If there was a simpler term for them, I will mention. But when you say frame, they are not. It's nothing hard. What you are seeing in your, if you pick up your phone tomorrow morning, pick up your phone and try to video, or even this night if you have light, if you are not in my where I am, yeah, those of us in Lagos or anywhere else, if you have light, just carry your phone and try to do a video, right? Everything you are seeing within your phone at that moment, from the camera lens, from that camera, what is capturing those things? Lens. From that lens, everything you are seeing in your phone is called the frame. I don't know if you are getting me. Everything you are seeing at that moment, that phone and everything you are seeing is called the frame, right? Composition is how all of the things in it are arranged. I don't know if you are getting me. So if I mention frame, you understand basically that frame is just what my camera is seeing at this moment, at any given time. Whatever, as much of my environment that my camera is seeing at every given time is my frame, right? How I arrange those things, how I arrange everything within that frame is called composition. Right? So they go hand in hand in their explanation. So let me just quickly share my phone screen so that we can see some camera angles. I'll just mention them, talk about them a little, and we push from there. Camera angles. Okay, now if you see close up shot, I'm sure everyone can see my screen. Everyone can see my screen. Right or right? If you can see my screen, let me just see emojis. I have gone out of the page. Okay, all right. I've seen our emojis, right? So close up shot. One type of camera angle is close up. We have close up. You've seen movies where the camera is close to a person, just like this picture you are seeing. You can see the person's face. You can see. So what close up will help you do is it give detail. It gives detail. It gives a closer detail of. So if this guy should start crying, I can see clearly that he's crying. But if it's a wide shot, we'll see an example that is wide shot. If it's a wide shot, I might not. If it's not sobbing like I might not know that he's crying. Why? Because I don't have a very good look at his face. That is what close-up shot help us with. Close-up shot gives you detail of your it gives you detail of your subject's face, give you detail of your so it gives emotion. It helps your client your I say your clients, forgive me, it helps your subject show his or her emotion, right? That is what a close-up shot do. So this is a close-up shot. We have what we call the wide shot. I'm looking for a wide shot. Now those are types of shots. You'll be seeing I will join them up short and angle. So you might hear short, you might hear angle. I mean, one are almost the same. Now, if you look at this picture very well, you can see that bottom frame. The bottom picture is a wide shot. Please, if you can still hear me, let me just see the emojis again. I'm rounding up. Don't worry. By 8:30 we are done. Then we push. We give. So, are we following? Are we following? All of all these things are very important. Remember, don't forget that cinematography is not just to carry your phone or carry the camera and say you can press record and record. It's about creatively telling a story. I will sit down and watch a scene because of how they use angle. Now, all those things we mentioned, light, composition, camera movement, camera angle, are basically elements or techniques that you can use to tell a story creatively. Are we following me? So we can see lower, we see the wide shot. Now, wide shot shows both the subject environment, and everything around the subject. That is what your wide shot help you to do. It shows you everything within the environment. Everything. It shows you the subject and its his or her environment. Medium shot is a bit closer. The difference between a medium shot and a close-up shot is that medium shot gives you more of the physics of the subject and a bit more of the environment also. But a wide shot shows you a whole lot. Now, wide shots are used to establish. Wide shot are used to what? They're used to establish. You want to tell me what is in the environment of your subject. You can't tell me your subject cannot be running and I'm seeing only the face and the leg. Let me see if it's in a bush. Let me see if it's in a forest. Let me see if it's in if it's running in a lonely road on a lonely road. Let me see if he's running in the forest. Let me see him running and see the tiger pursuing him. That is what a wide shot will do for you. It shows you what both the subject and the full frame of the environment the subject is in. Then we have this one that you can see in the middle, which is the extreme close up. You can see it extreme close up. You can see that sorry, we have this lady, right? As the close up shot, we have her face, right? Then when we do closer to her eyes, it gives us what a very extreme close up. Give us extreme close up. So that is that. Then on for angles, I'm going to call a lot that we might not understand, but I'm very sure in watching film we have seen all these kind of things. You don't just know what they are. Am I correct? Let me see the emojis. You have seen these kind of things, but you don't just really know what they are. You see, you watch a movie and you see them shooting a person and letting another part of the other person showing. That is what we call this over the shoulder shot. That you can see the third picture in this frame, the third picture over the shoulder, right? Over the shoulder shot where the man talking to the girl is showing in their own camera. So his over the shoulder shot can be close up. That's it can give me a closer view of the girl, but part of the guy is showing. It can be this medium that you see also because this is a medium that is showing me part of the person she's talking to and her being my subject. Right. Then popular one we have POV, point of view. Point of view is now the camera now becomes instead of you to be seeing the just like now instead of me to be seeing this girl, sorry, this in this over the shoulder shot, right? Instead of me to be seeing the lady with the man, right? If I'm not seeing only the lady, the way the man is looking at her is called POV. But most time we do POV to object, not subject, right? You can see this last shot that is called this last image in the frame that is called the POV shot. You will notice that you are seeing the road, so automatically the camera becomes the eyes of that man that is driving, what does it do to you, the person that is watching? You realize that it's now as though you are the one driving, right? If you see, let's say maybe a chicken cross the road now, do you realize that sometimes you might even turn your hand? How many of us have has that happened to while you are watching film? If they do POV shot, and maybe someone is gone in, they are only showing where the person is gone in, they are showing the track or the road, they are not showing the person, they are just showing the track or the road, and you see maybe something is on the road, you want to dodge as though you are the one acting the movie. That is how strong these camera angles helps us to tell movies. So we have over the shoulder, we have POV shot, we have POV shot. Let me see. We have eye angle. I'm going to list all about these things, tell us all about these things later on. They're somewhere in this slide that they are coming in, but I am just trying to show us so that we understand how these things also tell story. Remember these four things that I told you are how stories are being told creatively, using lights, using composition, using camera movement, and camera angle. Right. So we see high level shot, which is the very standard. For you that are beginning, you must learn how to master high level shot first before you are even thinking of doing low angle, the second image. You are thinking of doing high angle, you are thinking of doing bird's eye view or doing POV. You must first learn close up, you must first learn medium, and you must first learn high level shot. Now, what high level is just simply the way I'll be looking at you if we are standing on this, if we are of the same height, the way I'll be looking at you, or the way I'll be seeing someone if we are standing at the same height. Placing my camera that way is called high level. I'm trying to help us understand in simple terms. But if I'm shorter than someone, let's take for example now, Daniel is shorter than Ada. Daniel will have to be looking up to see Ada. I don't know if you understand me. So Daniel looking up to see Ada. Sorry, Daniel. Sorry that I'm using you. Daniel looking up to see Ada. Or no, let me use the first one. Low angle. Ada looking down to see Daniel. Adaora looking down to see Daniel. Is that low angle shot? You can see that the man is looking down. So we are seeing from, sorry, that low angle is Daniel's own. Oh. We are seeing from how Daniel is looking up to Ada. That is, bless me, that is low angle shot, right? The way Daniel is looking up to look at Ada. Immediately, if you see something like this, it tells you that this person, this man, or something smaller than this man is looking at this man. That's this second frame. The second frame, you can see it, low angle shot. It tells you almost immediately that something smaller than this man is looking at him. This one, the first one, high level, is almost as though they are in the same level, the same height, right? But this second one, something has changed. It's as though something from down is looking at this man. The third one, high level shot, high angle shot. We have high level, we have low angle, we have high angle. This high angle now, it means that what, this is Ada looking at Daniel. This is Ada what, looking at Daniel, because Daniel is shorter than Ada, so Ada is looking at Daniel from up. Daniel is looking at Ada from down. I don't know if with this example you understand what we now mean by what low angle shot and high angle shot. High angle shot is how the taller person is looking at the shorter person, while low angle shot is how the shorter person is looking at what, the taller person. Then we have other kinds of shots. We are not going to look at those other types of angle. Remember I said we are interchanging angle and shots together. We have other types of angle and shot, but we'll look at those ones later on. I'll just touch them and all of that. If you're also watching a film between now and tomorrow, if you see something, screenshot it and get it ready to drop on the group. I can explain what kind of shot is that and what they are using it to do in that scene. So we have close up shot, we have medium shot, we have wide shot. Understand these three first. We have close up, we have medium, we have wide. Close up, medium, wide. Then other angles, we have what? High level, we have low angle, and we have wide angle. Understand these six ones that I've mentioned. Close up shot, medium shot, wide shot. Close up, medium, wide. Close up shot, medium shot, wide. Then high level shot, low angle shot, and high angle shot. If you know these six, you have started your journey of filmmaking first. You have started your journey of cinematography, but you must know these six. If you have anywhere, you can write them down. So when you are watching any movie between now and tomorrow, you can tell me the name. If it's a movie I've watched, I can answer to the scene when we come tomorrow. So I'll give room for questions tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll stretch. Just prepare your mind that we'll stretch till 8, till 9. We'll stretch till 9 because it's the last class, so that we can do a lot of things, and we'll take any and every questions that we have also. All right. So just pen down those 6 angles and pen down these 4 techniques. The 4 techniques, remember we said cinematography is what? Basically the act of creatively representing or telling a story using visuals. Creatively telling a story using visuals, or the creative visual representation of a story. And what are the very important technique to cinematography? We have lighting, composition, camera movement, camera angle. Lighting, composition, camera movement, camera angle. We said lighting helps set mood, help to define atmosphere, right? We say composition has to do with everything that is within the frame of a camera, and it also helps to tell what? The story. Everything you put within your frame in a camera tells something in the story. If you are in a church now, if you are in a church now and you see coffin behind the pastor or coffin on the altar, you will not think it's a burial ground now. Will you think it's a burial ground? Immediately what comes to your mind is pastor is using juju. Why? Because you have introduced an element that you would not normally find in a church. Can you see what composition is doing to you? The moment you find, maybe you are watching a movie now, a Nigerian movie, and there's a shrine, and you see Bible somewhere, you know, is this Babalawo going to church? I don't know if you get it. What about that simple question in your mind? Just a small thing that is from the Bible. What about that question? What about seeing that thing in a different way, seeing that scene in a different way, right? So lighting, composition, camera movement, and what? Camera angles. And then we looked at 6 camera angles that we should note. Very important. 6 of them. If you can master 6 of them, you are flying high with cinematography already. Just master the 6 of them. We have what? Close-up shots, medium shots, wide shots, high level shots. High level placing the camera high at the eye level of the subject, or as if you and the camera and the subject are standing facing each other. Low angle, someone shorter looking up. I'm trying to use this basic thing to explain so we understand. Low angle, someone shorter looking up. So that view, that, or if you are looking at the sky, the way you raise your hand to look at the sky, that kind of view is what we call the low angle shot. And then we have the high angle shot, which is not, this is even almost bird eye. This one that they use for high angle shot here is almost bird eye. Let me see if I can see a proper high angle shot. This is an high angle shot. The one I am showing now, this is almost a proper high angle shot. That one is almost looking like, not even almost, it is a bird eye. The bird eye view, you can see that it's not different from the one below it. So this is an high angle shot. An high angle shot. Someone up looking down. If I'm taller than someone, the way I will see the person, how the person is looking at me. You can see that this guy's head is up, raised up, looking high. So that is an high angle shot, and it usually makes someone look smaller than they are. Right. Then we looked at um, high level, low angle, and high angle, close up, medium, and wide. Right. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much. And let me just entertain one question, and I we will call it a night so we can rest for service tomorrow. Just one question. Any question? Any question from anyone? Are we still with me? Any question from anyone? Okay, in the absence of any, we're going to call it a night to night. All right. Thank you, Father Lord, for today's teaching. Be glorified, Lord, in the name of Jesus. We ask that even as we push for tomorrow, you come and help us, and your name be glorified in our midst, in our life, and in all that we do in the name of Jesus. Thank you, blessed Redeemer. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Amen. Amen. Thank you all. Let's have a wonderful night rest. Good night.